Well, it's December, I think like the 17th. It's pretty cold out. It's not quite noon yet, so hopefully the chronograph will read accurately. I have a smattering of loads, 3 loads to be specific. They all have the same powder charge. I'm running unique for the powder, and it's exactly 11.5 grains. The cases are all Lake City, Milsurp cases. The bullets are all 170 grain Lee. By the way, this is a 308 Winchester. This is an Ishapur Enfield, made in India. The mix, really the variable that we're testing here is the bullets. They are all, like I said, the same lubed, same 170 grain Lee, but I have some that are powder coated without gas check. I have some that are powder coated with gas check, and then I have some that are like this one right here, which is running a traditional beeswax based lubricant, and we'll just see how they run. So I think we're going to see, my guess is we're going to see higher velocity out of the traditional cast and lubed bullets, but I don't know, we'll find out. (1,477 feet per second). I'm gonna jot that down. And I'm gonna spare us all of the back and forth and go ahead and just cut the video off, and we'll talk about the results later. Hey guys, it's been a while since I've shot a video. I do have a little bit of film from range day when I went out and shot this this combination. I thought, because I had reloaded these over the course of several months and it was just kind of a project that I hadn't gotten to, I thought I had all the same brass. I did not. There were a couple instances where the groups did have the same brass. I'll kind of call those out as I go through here. Ideally, I would have used the same brass, but it was an interesting experiment because I found out that this particular combination was a little bit sensitive to, a little bit more sensitive, frankly, to the brass than I had expected. So good to know. The next time I load, I'll just make sure that I keep all the brass the same. The powder charge was 11.5 grains of unique, and I'm running out, and it's tough to get any powder these days, so I may switch over to some 5744, or I have some BR5 over here, bulk surplus, which I found this particular batch loads very, very similar to unique. And it actually meters really, really well. So if I wanted to crank out a bunch of rounds on a progressive, it'd be an ideal powder to use. So the powder charge we talked about, as far as the bullet goes, it's 170 grain Lee. This particular one is powder coated with Hornady copper gas check and size to 309 inch diameter. The first test that I ran was actually just a lubed, so no powder coat, gas check bullet, and you can see there's only 4 shots here. Number 5, don't know where it went, but it wasn't on the paper. I was shooting at 50 yards with iron sights, prone with a bipod. So that that'll kind of give you an idea of you know, what the setup looked like. This one is powder coated with no gas checks, and here's a really nice group down here. These are two distinct groups, and guess what? I had two different cases. So I'm going to rerun this test at some point with consistent cases to see if I can shrink this up, if this was indeed due to the difference in the brass cases. Then over here we have the results of the hey Isaac. Hey bud, I got a little helper. Do you want to say hi? No? Okay, that's all right. So this one right here is powder coated, gas checked, and size to 309. So not a bad group. I measured it the other day, and I think it was like 1.2 inch diameter, center to center. Let's see, turn that on. And yep, still zero it out. About 1.2, about 1¼ inch, center to center. Not bad, you know, for, you know, gas checked cast bullets. I'll take it with iron sights. And here, this was a target that I scrounged from the range. So there's some 22s on here from the other day. There's a couple other loads, but this bullet's a flyer. This is the group actually right here, and these were all the gas checked, powder coated, you know, loads. So you can see a pretty nice group here with one flyer. So flyers happen. May have been me. Who knows? But really pleased with the results of this load. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and experiment with the non-gas checked with consistent cases. But I was really surprised at how much the difference in cases influenced this particular load. So you know, they tell you to you know, keep your cases in batches, and here's evidence to support that's pretty important from an accuracy perspective. As far as you know, velocity results, it was pretty interesting to me. Not surprising that the lubed gas-checked bullets that had the worst accuracy also had the highest standard deviation in terms of velocity. So right here, it might be a little tough for you to see. We achieved an average of 1,410 feet per second, and the standard deviation of that velocity was 42 feet per second. In comparison, you know, the best, most consistent group we got, which was the powder coated and gas checked, we had a similar velocity, 1,409, and granted, all of these cases were from the same batch of Federal cases. And so basically the velocity was identical, and we had a standard deviation of 9 feet per second. So 42 feet per second versus 9 feet per second. So much better from a consistency perspective with the powder coated and gas checked. I kind of expected to see higher velocity with the lubed bullet. I've seen that in the past, but in this case, didn't see it, you know, the difference was negligible. Really, they performed nearly identical, but the powder coated gas checked much more consistent, which is important for accuracy. So that's what I have to share today. I thought it was an interesting experiment, and hopefully you guys got something out of it. Thanks so much. So I got done running the test, and what I realized was I did not have consistent brass. So I went ahead and tried to record what the various brass was and the velocity that I achieved with each one of those combos. So that's what I get for reloading these over multiple sessions. But I got some outstanding accuracy results, which are really encouraging, and will help me really hone in on what the right combination of you know, powder coat versus gas check. But we'll get into that later. Right now, I got a bunch of miscellaneous left over. I'm going to run some steel. So I usually don't shoot prone off a bipod, but today, because of the test, that's what we're going to do. It is grouping a little bit to
the right. So I'm going to just a little high and a little right. I was doing a 6 o'clock hold on the target, so I'm going to dope a little bit and hit center. Man, I made a mess. These don't feed the best. They leave a little bit to be desired in the way they feed out of the magazine. All right, that was fun. There's nothing like shooting steel.